The job market has become an impossible all-time horror show, which is why I finally decided to start my YouTube channel. Maybe you recognize me from the app for people with no attention span, or my music work. Not only is the job market non-existent, but I felt with the emergence of AI that I had to do something that wouldn't be threatened directly by AI. The lack of job market regulation from the previous and current administration has threatened everyone on the job market. Even people with master's degrees are struggling to find work. Corporations will do whatever they can to maximize profits, which means the worker gets the dirty end of the stick. AI will specifically be a grave threat to workers, replacing labor and taking away paychecks across industries. But AI is far from the only thing causing a lack of hiring, transparency, and half of your LinkedIn connections being out of work for over a year despite sending out 1,000 applications. Ghost jobs is one ghoulish initiative from corporate America. Yes, you heard that right. Corporate is hiring ghosts as a part of their new DEI hiring initiative. Despite what Republicans and right-wing media will tell you, DEI isn't the problem. DEI helps hire all people for diversity, including white people. DEI helps hire veterans. DEI helps hire disabled people. And most importantly, helps avoid discrimination in hiring practices. The job market deficiencies we are seeing impact everyone. Take ghost jobs, for instance, which is a practice from corporations to potentially achieve various things. The company you apply to may be receiving government subsidies for creating jobs. And if the company can show that they're listing jobs, well, they may get their subsidy without ever having to actually hire someone. Another popular corporate trick is harvesting your data. Harvesting data can be very useful to companies to either try to sell their product to you using your data, or to sell your data to other companies. There are other dynamics like using a job listing to impress stakeholders or donors. It's just a little public relations. Back to AI, they could also be using your cover letter, resume, strategy, and materials you submit to train their AI models using the experienced worker yourself to then use the AI instead of your labor. They may also be testing job candidate supply, and they might not actually be serious about hiring. There's also layoffs to take into account. If someone is laid off, they might be using a job posting to avoid a wrongful termination lawsuit. Speaking of getting laid off, corporations are causing such anxiety around the potential of getting laid off that it's causing a lot of job hopping. And the job hopping is making employers skeptical about hiring someone that they deem too experienced. Everyone I know that has a job continues to apply elsewhere in case they lose that job. Or they could be building a resume bank, right? No, not really. They don't care. All of these things should unquestionably be illegal. Yet they aren't, and neither political party seems interested in talking about these things, because they're beholden to their corporate donors. Not only do billionaires, corporations, executives want to maximize their profits, but they also want you to think that people don't want to work. And then you hear your Facebook aunt repeating the same exact talking points, and next thing you know, your whole family is gaslighting you. The reality is, we all need to work, and most people want to work. It keeps our minds and bodies active, but most importantly, with the cost of living at all-time highs, we literally cannot afford not to work. It's been estimated that nearly half the jobs on the job market are ghost jobs. So what's the solution? A jobs placement program. A federal jobs placement program was an obvious policy for Kamala Harris and Democrats to pursue in 2024, but they're out of touch, they didn't, and they lost. Hey, I'm out of touch. Oh, I know what will solve the problem. Let me give a small business a loan. With a hypothetical jobs placement agency, any American could register with the agency, then work with an agent who's specialized within that specific field, working with orgs and corporations to place that worker on behalf of the worker, not on behalf of the corporation or org. This is another product of late-stage capitalism, where headhunters used to be a prevalent force in helping experienced workers find work. allowing a worker to pay the headhunter to find them work. But corporations don't want the worker to have that kind of power. So corporations commandeered headhunters and made them corporate recruiters, paid for by the corporations, beholden to corporations, and with the profit motive to only really help corporations, not the worker. Job boards also helped enable this corporate coup d'etat by causing too much candidate saturation and making it more acceptable for corporations to side with saving money rather than hiring anyone. Job boards also normalized not being able to walk in anywhere and show someone your face. Try walking in anywhere today and an HR person is just going to tell the front desk lady to tell you to apply online. Yeah, this is Hannah. Yeah, I hear there's a guy out front asking about a job. Yeah. Kill him. Job boards also don't do anything. The best thing to do is apply on the company's website. Best case scenario, if you're lucky and experienced, you maybe get one interview and 30 applications. This is why a jobs placement agency is needed. The private sector's profit motive is not to quickly and efficiently hire someone. Effective government can objectively step in, say this person is a great fit, hire them, 3 big booms. Meritocracy in capitalism is not only a myth, but it's more of a myth than ever before. And the only way to truly facilitate merit is with effective and objective job placement, something that the private sector is not incentivized to do and is clearly no longer capable of doing. Outside of trade jobs are important, but not everyone should do that. And I certainly think there's a correlation between fascist right-wing ideology and pushing everyone towards the same non-expressive and backbreaking labor in manufacturing and trade jobs. Issues that also pertain to the job market are firings, terminations, and at-will employment. Regulating job termination to say you need a valid reason to terminate someone's living wage shouldn't be controversial. Ensuring people don't lose their jobs is also a preventative way to address the issue. We also need to fund unions to a greater degree, but unions are capitalism's favorite whipping post and have been defunded for years. Stronger unions means safer work conditions, happier workers, and more efficient companies. Not too many things are assured in this system, but one thing is, that billionaires are going to bust the fattest unions possible. So let's take a look at who's under the mask. Is it DEI? Is it trans people? Is it illegal aliens? No, it's billionaires like Elon Musk and Sam Altman. Or people that aspire to be them. That's what billionaires really want. When you think you can be a billionaire, which you won't be, and you shouldn't be, you defend them like you're Jorah Mormont defending Daenerys Targaryen. It's a brain disease. A brain disease called bootlicking. Billionaires are the chief leaders in anti-worker, anti-labor propaganda and the destruction of labor rights. If you need evidence, just look at how Elon busts those unions. Or look at how he gut the federal government with Doge setting the standard for a completely anti-regulation administration. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, said something interesting about AI. He literally said AI will probably end the world. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy recently stated how AI will cause mass job loss. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei recently stated how AI could cause mass unemployment. There is a genuine lack of respect for workers in this country, and that is the propaganda billionaires love to see. So I would like to take this opportunity to document some incidents I've experienced at work. I was once scapegoated at Bloomberg for being a troublemaker because someone on our team wanted to call out bad data and we were just being too cool for school, I guess. At a regional conference, 3 managers just pulled me into a room and interrogated me for a straight hour. I really thought I was going to get waterboarded. What's hilarious is that I didn't give a shit. I could care less. I wasn't there because I cared. I was poor and I needed a paycheck. And they had no evidence whatsoever. I'm using this as an example because corporate America often operates on fear of open conflict. And they often try to neutralize any sense of conflict wherever they find it. And so they falsely accused me of basically trying to organize a coup. without any evidence whatsoever when faced with that conflict. But thankfully, because I was just an organizer and didn't have any kind of seniority and certainly wasn't starting a coup, they let me keep my job. But I was almost fired that day. I was, however, terminated without cause at Florida Atlantic University after busting my ass on 2 grant renewal videos, working overtime and growing their socials by a significant percentage. One of the most egregious and heartbreaking aspects of losing that job was that I graduated from FAU in 2017 in film and journalism. So I was an alumnus, and I returned to my college to work as a social media and content manager. I have 2 theories about what happened here. I had 6 months left on my contract, which was via a grant, and I'm pretty sure they just went ahead and used the money for the rest of the grant on things they deemed more important. I also have every reason to believe I may have been targeted for my human rights activism. FAU being located in Boca Raton, a community with a lot of support for Zionism, may have gotten wind that I don't condone a genocide, and I've been vocal about that. After all, FAU and my previous boss refused to tell me why, as I inquired over and over and over again. I also never received warning or forewarning, and was told by a friend who worked at the college with seniority that I should have, which made the situation all the more strange. And not just that I should have, but that it's policy that when people are usually terminated, they receive some kind of warning. And getting people fired just because they don't agree with an ethno-state is a little bit of a trend. It's not something I made up. I hope that isn't true, but just like any other job that screwed me over through the years, it will never change my worldview. I will always stand in allyship with the Jewish community in the same way that I stand in allyship with Palestinians and any group of people in my human rights activism. I don't know for sure what happened at FAU, but I know it was rude and cruel to do to an alumnus, and an example of the cruelty of at-will employment. And I'm glad they suck in basketball again. I've had 16 jobs in 10 years and hundreds of clients, and I plan to dedicate future videos to similar labor experiences of mine that you may relate to. And if you want to hear more from me, please subscribe below. I think it's really important for people applying over and over again with no result, or for people who have experienced wrongful termination or exploitation, to know there are millions of people just like you, and that we need more conversation that brings about more labor solidarity. Trust me, I've applied to thousands of jobs the last few years, and over 1,000 in the past year, across all industries, blue collar and white collar. Your labor is not the problem. The problem is corporate interest. The problem is corporate exploitation. The problem is the system.